It's been a very interesting week. We'll start by stating the obvious, and first video was snowfall on the ground. And so with that being said, work is a little slow right now. So slow that I actually had this whole past week off from one job at least. Now, at first, I was a little frustrated, but then realizing that it might not be that bad. And I was thankful because, one, it's Thanksgiving time. I'm not a big holiday person, but it's always good to be with the family. My mom was in town. And so with this week off, I figured I was going to be just relaxing and spending time with the family. Little did I know that I would actually spend more time working compared to me working at my regular construction job. My grandma, her bathroom has been giving her issues for a good bit now. And it's always been on like the to-do list, of projects that never ends when you have a house. Gosh, that's loud. And so, since I was off for a week, I had some extra hands in town with my mom and brother. Kind of on a 20-30 minutes notice, we decided we were going to fully renovate the bathroom. Even saying that is a little crazy, and yeah, but the way I looked at it is that we had the opportunity to do so. I don't know when I would have this time off again, and so I was going to make the most of it. Now, working on this project, I knew what I was doing, but doesn't mean that the unexpected does not arise. There would be unforeseen occurrences that would come up, maybe make me a little bit frustrated, take some time and eventually solve them. And throughout this whole past week, I would say I've been probably working about 10 hours a day, if not. Some days more, some days less, but I would say average about 10 hours a day. And the funny thing is that I'm working more, but I have the same, if not more, energy than when I'm at my regular jobs. And I was noticing how I was noticing the lack of resistance, the lack of friction when doing this. Of course, yes, there were hiccups and stuff that would cause issues in getting the project done, but I'm talking about more or less like internal friction and resistance. I would get up out of bed, with 6 hours of sleep or so, And I would wake up and not want to go back to sleep. And, when I'm hitting the 4 or 5 hour mark, I'm ready to keep going. I actually do not want to stop, compared to at my regular job, 2 hours and I want to go home. Yeah, 2 hours and I want to go home. So I've just been noticing those parallel, I don't want to say parallels, but the differences in just my energy, my attitude, my behavior, and my emotional state. I was watching this video, and it mentions how humans are the only species who have the mindset, philosophy, I'm not sure what the correct term is, but of off days, and how everything else in nature is working 24/7, 365. Now, the important thing to note is, it's not necessarily grinding yourself down to the point of exhaustion and burnout, but I think it's a mixture of a few different things. And of course, this is referencing much of the video, but I think the first thing is having a proper why, a purpose behind something. I think second is the rest, giving yourself the proper rest and recovery. And I would say that includes diet as well. I think third, there needs to be a way of like measurable progress. Okay, that's too loud. And I think if there is one that could overcome anything, it would be the purpose and the why. I wanted to do this for my grandma. Like, there was a very clear why behind doing so. And the other things, rest and diet, as well as the, measurable improvements, those were there and present in this project, somewhat. Actually, the rest and diet was not. It was Thanksgiving time. We had Thanksgiving food. I was sleeping, not as much as I normally do, so scratch that. The second, rest and diet was not there for this. But the measurable progress was. And so, as I complete this progress, I'm trying to see how can I keep that momentum going, and what's the next thing to shift my attention towards that will give me that feeling of almost I don't know, that energy, and I guess you could say fulfillment. I just saw how this past week I was able to get into another gear. And if you were to tell me the week before, different set of circumstances, but you tell myself I have to work, 30% more than what I already do, I would have took that as a very difficult thing to do. But with the proper why, it's easier than operating at a lower gear with no purpose.